of the month for April, and to all of our online ruler connoisseurs, hello. And this month we are showing the 60-degree double strip ruler from Creative Grid. And this quilt here, this table runner I should say, was where we started. I did this like a couple years ago from the Sizzlin' 60s book, and it's got some great patterns, and when you see how quick these blocks go together, and well, I have to say though, when I did the first table runner, I used the 60-degree ruler. So every time you make a cut, you gotta place it, cut, flip it, cut, place, flip. And so it took a little longer. So then when this came out, you're gonna get to see how easy and fast this cuts. What we do is when you take your strips, and on this quilt here, with all the hexagons, every time you do a strip set, so these are 2.5-inch strips, great for jelly rolls, great for scraps. Some of you were saying earlier, oh, what a great scrap quilt. And it is, because all you have to do is kind of match your lights and your darks together, and if you don't think, it will go together quickly. So what I started off with is I sewed all my strips together, and that can take like one night. And then you do all your cutting, and then you do all your piecing, and with some of these there's not even borders, so it actually goes together very, very quickly. On the pattern that you're seeing here that I used, when you cut it, you take your long strip and you cut the strip in half, and you press half of it one way and half the other way, and you don't stop to think about your lights and your darks. They just go wherever they go. And when you lay them together, because this is pressed to the dark, this one here is pressed to the light, you snuggle them up together, so when you cut them, the seam allowances are all right where they need to be. There we go. That's how that one will sit. When you put your ruler up to the strip, this is going to cut out 5 60-degree triangles at a time. Now some of the patterns will actually have you utilize, you can see there's some extra waste on the ends. They'll have you do like little half triangles and sew them together, so do read the patterns and see if you're going to need those. On this particular quilt I did not. So all I needed to get from them is one cut all the way across plus one extra. So when I actually go to cut, I take the ruler and I cut all the one direction, and then I come back and cut all the other directions. Love these little notches that allows the rotary cutter just to go right into space, and then flip this over and I cut one extra one from the end here. And then these pieces on the edges, those could be sewed together in half pieces, but I didn't have to. So from here, when you lift these up, they are ready to stitch. So the seams were pressed one way and the other. So we have 1, 2, and I just would layer them up and then keep them together since I had lots of different color combinations. Now here's the cool part. When you sew, start from the outside edge and sew in to the point. Okay? Now you're going to have 6 little sets here. Now if you get zealous though, you're going to have to take 2 of them apart. Save 2, put 2 aside, and only sew together 4 sets. Okay, this is how the hexagons will work. Once you've sewed those 4 sets together, press them open. So this is what you're going to have. You'll have half of them will be with the light on the outside, half of them will be with the dark on the outside. Yes, it really is nice. You flip them over, and your 2 extra sets that you have here, I remember looking at this going, oh no, I pressed them the wrong way. But all I needed to do is okay, that one goes over here, but it goes on the side, so it doesn't matter. You just add it to the side where that seam allowance will then be opposite and everybody nests together properly. So this one here, that would go right along that edge. And after you sew those together, you have your hexagons. Yes. When you go to sew the hexagon halves together, put these away, you don't sew hexagons, you sew strips. So then instead of laying them out like this together, you'll lay them out in rows. And you'll sew your rows together, so you never have inset seams with this type of pattern. Isn't that nice? There's also another pattern here from the quilt company called Bejeweled. That is a great one and available. So with the double strip ruler, you can really speed up your process for all your hexagon cutting. And next month, we are going to feature the Creative Grids straight out of the line ruler, also from Creative Grid.